Manchester, a city known for its vibrant nightlife and youthful energy, became the backdrop for a chilling tale of predation and deceit. At the heart of this story was Reinhard Sinaga, an unassuming man leading a double life. By day, he was a PhD student, blending seamlessly into the academic landscape. By night, he transformed into a predator, preying on young men who crossed his path. Sinaga's crimes, as they unraveled, shook the city and the nation to their core. He was no ordinary criminal. He was a serial rapist of unimaginable proportions. The sheer scale of his offenses, with over 159 confirmed victims, earned him the grim title of Britain's most prolific rapist. His story is a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface of seemingly ordinary lives. Sinaga's crimes were as calculated as they were horrific. He would often target young men who were intoxicated and separated from their friends in Manchester's bustling nightlife. His demeanor was disarmingly friendly, offering them a place to sober up, charge their phones, or simply continue the party. However, these offers of help were a sinister facade. Sinaga's apartment, instead of being a safe haven, was a carefully constructed trap. It was here that he drugged his victims, rendering them unconscious and vulnerable to his depraved desires. His crimes, captured on his own devices, painted a horrifying picture of systematic abuse and depravity. Sinaga's modus operandi was as calculated as it was chilling. He meticulously chose his victims, often targeting young men who were intoxicated and separated from their friends in Manchester's bustling nightlife. His demeanor, described by some as charming and unassuming, was in the most potent weapon. He would approach his victims with offers of help, a friendly face in the crowd offering a place to sober up, charge their phones, or simply continue the party. His apartment, a stone's throw away from the bustling nightclubs, became his hunting ground. It was a place where he felt in control, where he could exert his dominance over his unconscious victims. Once inside his apartment, Sinaga would offer his victims drugged drinks, often laced with potent sedatives. The drugs would render his victims unconscious, leaving them unable to fight back or remember the horrors that awaited them. He documented his crimes meticulously, recording hours of footage of his assaults. These recordings, a chilling testament to his depravity, would later become instrumental in his conviction. Sinaga's apartment was more than just a crime scene. It was a shrine to his ego. He kept trophies, clothes, wallets, phones, taken from his victims, tangible reminders of his conquests. He would often access his victims' social media accounts, a further violation of their privacy and a chilling insight into his psyche. The unmasking of Reinhard Sinaga sent shockwaves through the UK. His crimes, revealed in graphic detail during his trial, exposed the dark underbelly of Manchester's nightlife. The trial itself was a harrowing experience, with victims recounting the trauma of realizing the extent of Sinaga's abuse. The evidence against him was overwhelming, with hundreds of hours of video footage corroborating the victims' testimonies. The prosecution presented a compelling case portraying Sinaga as a calculated predator who meticulously planned and executed his attacks. The defense's attempts to portray him as a man engaging in consensual acts were quickly dismantled by the sheer weight of the evidence. The jury, visibly shaken by the testimonies and evidence presented, took less than 2 days to reach a guilty verdict, on all 159 charges. Sinaga's sentence, a minimum of 30 years imprisonment, was later extended to 40 years on appeal. The judge, in his sentencing remarks, described Sinaga as a monster who posed a significant danger to the public. The impact of Sinaga's crimes extended far beyond the courtroom. Victims, many of whom had no recollection of the assaults, were left grappling with the trauma of knowing they had been violated in the most horrific way. Support groups were inundated with calls highlighting the devastating and long-lasting impact of sexual assault. The case also sparked a national conversation about consent, vulnerability, and the dangers of predatory behavior. The Sinaga case served as a stark reminder that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places, and that vigilance and awareness are paramount in protecting oneself and others. Sinaga's conviction, while offering a sense of justice, did little to erase the trauma inflicted upon his victims. The knowledge of their violation, coupled with the loss of memory and the struggle to reconcile with their fragmented past, left many in a state of emotional turmoil. The psychological scars of his crimes ran deep, a constant reminder of the night they encountered the monster of Manchester. Within the confines of HMP Wakefield, a high-security prison housing some of Britain's most notorious criminals, Sinaga was a pariah. His crimes, considered abhorrent even by hardened criminals, made him a target. In July 2024, his notoriety caught up with him. He was brutally attacked by a fellow inmate, Jack McRae, who attempted to inflict grievous bodily harm. The attack, a planned hit, was thwarted by the swift intervention of prison guards. Sinaga, although injured, narrowly escaped with his life. McRae was subsequently charged with attempted murder and transferred to Franklin Prison, another high-security facility. The incident highlighted the volatile environment of prison life, particularly for inmates like Sinaga, whose crimes placed them at the very bottom of the prison hierarchy. The attack on Sinaga, while shocking, was not entirely unexpected. His crimes had made him a figure of hate, a symbol of depravity that resonated even within the walls of prison. The incident served as a stark reminder of the long-reaching consequences of Sinaga's actions, impacting not only his victims, but also his own existence behind bars.